Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 5 for today. There might be 6 parts, so just check them out. My website's ggnonline.com. On YouTube, my channels are ddarko2012 and ddarko2013. The links will be posted now that I'm seeing it, probably tomorrow, so just check back tomorrow for the links. Alright, Rochester, New York police officers assault disabled man in motorized vehicle chair. So just when I think the Rochester, New York Police Department can't sink any lower, they managed to outdo themselves. A video recently posted on YouTube shows a very disturbing incident as 2 New York police officers are seen assaulting Benny Ward, disabled man in a motorized wheelchair who was waiting for the bus near the intersection of Jefferson Avenue and Bartlett. Although the video is shot in an upright position, limiting the shot to about a third, and it's not its best quality, it's clear that Ward did nothing to warrant this use of force. At one point, the video of an RPD officers grab Ward, lifting him off of his wheelchair and throwing him onto the sidewalk. So the woman recording the video can be heard saying, "Stop, why are you kicking him?" Ward was taken to the hospital and given an appearance ticket for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. So it says here, Jefferson Avenue residents say it's not uncommon for Rochester police officers to assault innocent people. Government accessing data on individuals stored by corporations says our government collects a lot of information about us, including tax records, legal records, license records. It says it's all in database and are increasingly linked and correlated. So there's a lot of personal information the government cannot collect. Either they're prohibited by law from asking without probable cause or judicial order, or they simply have no cost-effective way to collect it. But the government has figured out a way to get around the laws and collect personal data that has been historically denied to them. As corporate America for it. So, including Google and Facebook. But it says that add data from your cell phone, who you talk to, or your location, your credit cards, what you buy from, whom, and dozens of other times you interact with a computer daily. We live in a surveillance state beyond the dreams of Orwell. So it's all corporate data, compiled and correlated, bought and sold, and increasingly the government is doing the buying. Okay, so I'm going to do this article first. Enron CEO Skilling strikes deal to get out of prison in 2017. So he'd be out of prison as early as 2017, more than 10 years early, under a proposed sentencing agreement submitted Wednesday to a federal judge in Houston. He would give up all his remaining rights to appeal. His 2006 convictions on 19 criminal counts would stand. He would also would give up any claims to the $40 million he was ordered to forfeit. So, Lauryn Hill ordered by judge in Newark, New Jersey to undergo counseling because of her conspiracy theories. It's from IB Times. Reclusive soul superstar Lauryn Hill has been jailed over an enormous unpaid tax bill. The 37-year-old was sentenced to 3 months in jail, followed by 3 months home confinement for failing to pay $500,000 to the taxman in the United States. So, Hill claimed the sum was outstanding because she had withdrawn from society after alleged threats against her family. She was in prison after failing to pay the amount within the stipulated 2-week time frame. She was ordered by the judge in Newark to undergo counseling because of her conspiracy theories, including that artists are being oppressed by a plot involving the military and the media. She pleaded guilty of tax evasion last year. Department of Justice says we don't need warrants for our email, Facebook chats. An FBI investigation manual updated last year obtained by the ACLU says it's possible to warrantlessly obtain Americans' email without running afoul of the Fourth Amendment. So they believe that they don't need a search warrant to review Americans' emails, Facebook chats, Twitter, direct messages, and other private files. All digital communications in the U.S. are being captured by government surveillance systems. It says you may be reading this article in the privacy of your own home, but somewhere in a National Security Agency control center, your every move is being tracked. What time you logged in this morning, the website you visited, how long you stayed, and even what you said in the comment sections. All of it has been cataloged and possibly even flagged for suspicious activity. So, it says a few years ago, crap hits the fan discussed the tracking and archiving capabilities of advanced monitoring systems being implemented by the government. Basically, that everything you do on a daily basis is being tracked. Since then, the government has further expanded their capabilities. In fact, their ability to monitor Americans has increased to such an extent that they've built a data center so massive that it can store over a yottabyte of information. That's 1 trillion terabytes, or about 100 trillion high-definition DVDs worth of information. The NSA's new data center is just a game changer, but that prompted one whistleblower to come forward, saying domestically they're pulling together all data about virtually every U.S. citizen in the country and assembling that information, building communities you have relationships within, and knowledge about you, what your activities are, and what you're doing. It says many Americans may not realize this, but nothing that you do on your cell phone or internet will ever be private again. Everyday collection systems at the NSA intercept and store about 1.7 billion emails, phone calls, and other types of communications. Then we have the Queen's Speech revised Snoopers charter legislation. It says that they're trying to resurrect the controversial bill tracking individuals' email, internet, and mobile text use. The government appears to have left open a door to the resurrection of the controversial Snoopers charter bill to track everyone's email, internet, and mobile text use. This is, of course, in the UK. Nordstrom using smartphones to track customer movements. So the company says it wants to serve you better, so it's tracking your movements through their stores. The local news affiliate, learned that the retailer is using software to track how much time you spend in specific departments within the store. Sorry about that. The technology is being used in 17 Nordstrom and Nordstrom Rack stores nationwide. So they collect, it says the sensors within the store collect information from customer smartphones as they attempt to connect to Wi-Fi service. So free Wi-Fi everywhere. It's so great, isn't it? The sensors can monitor which departments you visit and how much time you have there or spent there. It says, however, the sensors do not follow your phone from department to department, or can they identify any personal information tied to the phone owner. So I guess that's good. This is literally measuring a signal. You are not connected to the signal. There's an application that taps phone and personal clues to your happiness. The researchers at Cambridge University have developed an application that tries to track happiness by combining smartphone data with users' perception of mood. Emotion Sense collects information about where users are, how noisy the environment is, and whom they are communicating with. So it creates the user's own report about their mood. So this goes in line with what I was talking about before about uploading to a website about what you ate, when you ate, how much of it you ate, how many calories you had, how many calories you burn. You know, it's all synced in with these little gadgets. I've seen other people use it, and then it's all linked up with their smartphone. And then, of course, you have the other thing with the sleep mode. Oh, how much should I sleep? How many times did I wake up? What is my sleeping efficiency ratio or percentage? And it's all uploaded online. The app is part of a project to see how mobile phones can be used to improve health and well-being. So yeah, this is all user input data. So this is all things that are done voluntarily. So you have to brainwash people and get them to basically say, well, we don't need privacy anymore. They don't really believe in privacy anymore. So then they believe, like, they listen to people like Obama that tell them that, oh, the government isn't being tyrannical, or you don't have to worry about your rights being trampled on or anything. India Central Monitoring System. The government last month in India quietly began rolling out a project that gives it access to everything that happens over India's telecom network, online activities, phone calls, text messages, and even social media conversations. It's called a Central Monitoring System. It will be a single window from where government arms, such as the National Investigation Agency or tax authorities, will be able to monitor every byte of communication. But privacy and internet freedom advocates are worried that in the name of security, keeping the slaves safe, the government could end up snooping on people, possibly abusing a system that does not have enough safeguards to protect ordinary citizens. It just makes people laugh. Your body's a corporate test tube. It says a hidden epidemic is poisoning America. The toxins in the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the walls of our homes, the furniture within them. It says that we can't escape it. It's in the cities and suburbs, and it afflicts young and old. It says the culprit behind the silent killer is lead and vinyl and formaldehyde and asbestos, bisphenol A, PCBs, thousands more innovations brought to us by the industries that once promised a better living through chemistry, but instead produce a toxic stew that has made every American a guinea pig, that has turned the United States into one grand unnatural experiment. That's for sure. 8 drivers who blindly followed their GPS in disaster. So, yeah, this is, I actually mentioned this before, the episode of The Office. The machine knows where it's going, yells Michael Scott in the episode, before driving his car directly into the lake. So, it says next time the mechanical voice tells you to hang a right where none exists, trust your own 2 eyes instead of making these mistakes. I think actually in Australia some Chinese people drove into the ocean. Most of these objects too, they kind of kill the interaction between people. So like before, you might stop and ask a stranger, where to go, where are you? You just rely on this device. Screen zombie. It seems like everything is like that. Everything is about isolating people. Unless, of course, you're at a bar. I love Alan Watts' point. Unless you're at a bar where you could be socializing, you can be congregating, you can be discussing serious issues. You can still be having a good time and everything, but it's just like, no, it has to be music blaring, high definition screens everywhere. Everybody just gets plastered, and they talk about bullshit. Or the sports stadium, same thing. Of course, they're highly secure, which means that you're not secure, you're not safe before you go in there or you come out. But while you're in there, you'll be completely defenseless. I just experienced that while I was in somewhere in Chicago. They actually had a private security guard, and he did the whole shakedown, and I couldn't carry a knife, couldn't carry a pepper spray, and I wasn't in the best of neighborhoods, and I was completely defenseless. And it's just a tragedy because the person I was with said, well, why do you need that? Why do you need a knife? Why do you need that? It's just like, oh, I don't know. I guess I just like to keep it for aesthetic reasons. Screen zombie students says concern about young people's use of technology is nothing new, of course, but this new study published in May says here the issue of computers and human behavior is part of a growing body of research focused on a very particular use of technology, media multitasking while learning. Attending to multiple streams of information and entertainment while studying, doing your homework, or even sitting in class has become common behavior among young people so much that many of them rarely write a paper or complete a problem set any other way. Father of Sandy Hook victim faces criminal charges. A man whose 6-year-old son was among those killed in a Newtown, Connecticut elementary school massacre was scheduled to appear in the Connecticut Superior Court Wednesday on larceny and other charges. So, he has been lobbying to Congress and Connecticut legislator for increased gun control in the wake of the shooting. I remember the victim's house who's burned down and a hero who died. It's just crazy. Suspension for boy who held pencil like gun. So we've already covered this. The boy who was suspended. I guess it could have been worse. He could have had a Pop-Tart gun, a Pop-Tart shaped like a gun too, and got suspended. Americans convinced gun homicides soar despite actual plunging gun crimes. So another example of massive gap between the American people's perception of what is going on around them and the actual reality. Reuters reports that while gun-related homicides are down 39% from the 93 peak, only 12% of people believe that gun crimes have fallen. It says here, 56% of Americans believe that gun crime is higher now than it was 20 years ago. And like that last video, we're talking about the middle age. I think it was Americans that were offing themselves, right? The suicides. That's actually one of the big statistics for actual gun deaths. People taking the quick way out, right? And you see all this madness. Sometimes you can't blame them. CNN anchors pretend they're having a satellite interview even though they're in the same parking lot. So apparently they thought we wouldn't notice because Nancy's on the right side of the screen when in reality she is to her left. They're all in the same car. So it says here, unfortunately, it's hard to get shooting permits in Cleveland on short notice. The author says, do us a favor, CNN, just put them next to each other and have them talk into each other's faces instead of relaying words through satellites to come back down 30 feet away like we're idiots. Chris Matthews and MSNBC, the toilet bowl of broadcast journalism. Network calls gun advocates of being racist and unable to accept an African-American president. Says the BBC has a share of critics. It says here as any multi-billion-dollar state-run media outlet should expect to. Their status as protector of the government line is not a surprise to anyone because their state-run status is out in the open. But of course, you got all these quote private companies that espouse all of this globalist and big centralized power. But they pull the race card, race baiting, along with Alice Sharpton. It says here that they employ the White House very orthodox Saul Alinsky methods when it comes to dividing and subdividing American society into an easy-to-manipulate social compartments. A new dawn at ABC. Newsman becomes newswoman. The top ABC News editor walked into his Manhattan office on Friday with a little black dress and wants to be known as Dawn from now on. The 49-year-old father of 3 said he's splitting from his wife of 17 years to become a woman. They say he or she suffers from an unusual hormonal imbalance. Thank you.